Hello, world. So, this month of March, we are featuring for the Big Black Book NYC, Kenneth Gee. He is a financial advisor for New York Life. Say hi to the world, Kenny.
Hello, good day, good morning, whenever you watch this, good afternoon. How you doing?
Yes, thank you. So, Kenneth, let's just get right into it. And why don't you share a bit about yourself and about your business and your business adventures?
Okay, very good. Thanks for having me up here. Appreciate that. Want to start with that first.
Oh, yeah, thank
Um,
you for coming.
yeah, thanks. Virtually, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's all the same though, so I appreciate being up here. Thank you for it. It's a good platform to get the word out. The nature of my business, I do work for New York Life. I'm a financial advisor, also known as an agent. The goal is to work with families and individuals
Mm,
um, really in all aspects of financial finances, everything but banking, honestly.
yeah.
Personally, my background's education, school counselor, certified. I've worked there, worked in the schools, worked with parents. You deal a lot of confidentiality
Mm,
and learning how to speak to people about sensitive topics and things that are uncomfortable but necessary is something I've gotten very good to. So I applied that same skill set to what I do. So going back to families and individuals, the one thing we all need, we need resources, and most resources, people would say money is like the chief one of those. And a lot of people don't know what they're doing with money. They really don't know. They have an idea, but they don't know. I mean, best example is when you look at your young rookie sensation in whatever sport, or
mm,
your young freshman new hit in terms of music,
mhm.
and the amount of money that they make and how much is actually they actually accrue, and then how broke they are not too long after. You're looking at mismanagement of funds. So the dollar amount that you get, it's really secondary to what you do with it. Um, you want to make your money work for you. You want to protect what you have. When you work with life insurance, you want to have money saved away. You want to have money in different areas, some that you think about, some that you're managing closely, some that you're not, because the things like the stock market, things like the pandemic we're going through, things like the presidential election, no matter who you voted for, it created some fluctuation in the stock market, which thereby affected investments, thereby affected everything that we really touch. So that's something you need to understand as well too. Now, New York Life itself is not a company that is affected by the stock market because it's a mutual company, so it's not a publicly traded commodity. So that's why you have not seen New York Life stock for sale or for purchase or for trade on the stock market. The products we deal with do deal with that, but the company itself isn't. So the policy owners own the company. And when you have a company that's in its 176th year, with policy owners being contributing consistently, they're able to actually declare a 1.8 billion dividend last year during the pandemic. So that's the strength of our company. Even during the tough times, we're able to do that. So that's where we're able to come in and sit down with the family and say, this is what you need to do. And we worked with you based on what you need, your budget, your needs, and what your goals are. But we are able to really guide you to make those good decisions. People have a lot more money and a lot more resources than they actually look like because they're able to invest wisely and properly. So that's where we come in to help out.
Yeah. You know what? I liked how you said you work with the individual and the family. That stood out to me because it kind of went with um your initial, well, not initial, but one of your beginning statements of how people can make a lot of money but still end up being broken. A lot of those habits, right,
Right,
that you learn
right,
are things that we learn from our parents or other family members, right? So that
right.
if you're working with a family, then when those individuals leave the house,
Mhm.
they'll be more set financially. They'll be wiser for it if you're working with the whole family.
Yeah, that ideally, yeah, certain communities, I'm not going to name them, but certain cultural communities, this is a mainstay. This is what they do. And you see cultural communities come in and take over whole areas because they have a lot of things working and a lot of things established, and a lot of things are just consistently taught across the
Mhm,
board. So they're able to move as a unit.
mhm,
Um, the phrase generational debt is something you hear a
yeah,
lot. especially hashtag social media life that we live. And it sounds great. It always flies well in the meme, but the answer is not, again, not making a lot of money. The answer is learning is the knowledge of what to do with the money that you have, and learning how to invest and make the money work for you. So, to best way to break generational debt and the mindset of it is to educate. And then with people, obviously, when you see it happen, they're more likely to buy into what's going on. So that's where you actually want to see the moves being made. But you can actually take care of a lot of things and start to build a legacy. And it's really not complicated at all. It just requires some discipline, some patience, and some information and the right words at the right time. So that's why I'm here.
Yes, patience, right? And I mean, short of the lotto, right? Nothing's really instant in life. Like almost nothing is instant in life.
Nothing good, honestly. Few things. Honestly, even if you were to get offered a job on the spot, there's plenty of people who were discovered acting and modeling at the gas station and at the mall. And then they sign the contract and they have the look, but they don't have the ability yet.
Hmm.
You still have to hone your skills. You still have to understand, if you're a model, you have to understand your angles and the lighting. You have to understand what's going on. And ultimately, you have to own your product, which is you, so that you know what you want to do with what you have, and so you can actually so you have accountability to the product that you put out there. So that's something, again, that you can get in the door quick, but you can also get out the door quickly as well too.
Right.
So it's knowledge that keeps you there. If you look at all the successful people in Hollywood, in sports, they own their own production companies. The Rock's production company. Serena Williams. I mean, we don't know how much money she makes. We really don't know,
Nope.
because her earnings off the tennis is just absurd, ridiculous. And then she has Nike, and Lord knows what she has with that. And then every celebrity has a cookbook, and then Ryan Reynolds, had Aviator Gin and sold that, and George Clooney sold his tequila brand, and I mean, it's people are getting their fingers and their hands everywhere. Everyone's producing, everyone's doing this. I mean, we saw
Mm.
on the romance side of things, I believe that was it Wilson got Sierra's masters on some things, so now she owns what's going on. I think that was last year. She owns,
Didn't know that.
her music. So even musicians don't own their stuff unless you own the masters. So again, you got to have that knowledge. You got to have that acumen, and that comes with being aware and being open and being teachable with what's going on. So again, that's why we work in individuals and families, because you get enough people who are open-minded and able to work together and execute. You're going to see whole families get moved to a different level. Um, let's look at the Kardashians, for example. At the end of the day, you have to look at the family as a conglomerate. And
Mm.
what started with one, they're all doing, to the point where the youngest one is literally carbon copying what the oldest one did, but she's doing it at a higher level because she got in the game earlier, was able to do what she needs to do. So the facts and the numbers do not lie, whether or not that's a person or family or people of your preference. They're able to utilize what's going on. And I promise you, they have the highest skilled and the best educated financial advisor are telling you, make this move, invest here,
Yeah.
have this money fixed, have this money liquid, have this cash, have this for long term, short term. So they're never, like, their
Mm.
legacy is really set for generations to come. And that was because they learned how to leverage. Once the foot got in the door, they learned how to leverage and replicate, and then you have with them. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the best examples. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, you're really passionate about this, right? I mean, you broke a lot down, and which is awesome. So, where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, New York Life started life insurance. It was Nautilus Life Insurance Company in 1845. So the cornerstone is life insurance. Life
Mm.
insurance, um, it doesn't insure against death, and this is like the morbid part of the conversation. We really can't prevent that. We can delay it, but we can't prevent that. We actually are insuring life and the value of life in terms of the financial, uh, the financial contribution that one brings over the course of a lifetime.
Hmm.
So if someone's going to be able to make, say, $2 million over the course of their lifetime or in the course of the next 10 years, but obviously something happens and God forbid the worst case scenario happens, they're not going to bring that money in.
Right.
So if you are focused on my investments are being set up now,
Mhm.
Bitcoin, real estate, I don't care what it is. My stuff is being set up now, and I know for a fact I'm going to make it, crack this code and make it happen in the next couple of years because I'm putting in the work now.
Mhm.
But your number gets punched 2 years into that 5 year plan.
Yeah.
Everyone's holding their breath, has to let that breath go and pick up the pieces because there's nothing supporting the investment.
Right.
So life insurance for me as inspiration is a starting point for families. It really starts to put the perspectives together for people to say, listen, we are here. Mortality is something that we need to is a blessing. We need to be aware of our time, and we don't always have it and not take it for
Right.
granted. When you understand that, you work harder and you work more concisely, and ideally, you should work smart and hard. But when you start with that and you start to realize how many people are out there uneducated, again, going back to my background, and
Right.
thinking, oh, I have my life insurance through my job. Like, you don't have life insurance. Your job has life
Right.
insurance. They let you have it. It's a job benefit. But you leave that job and say you make twice the amount at the new job, and you stepped up your financial framework, but the
Mhm.
benefits aren't as good. Now we're in that same scenario that in
Mhm.
10 years you'd be a millionaire. But
Right.
if you're out of here by year 8, what happens to your family? What happens to your loved ones? So life insurance is your seatbelt. And that conversation in and of itself is inspirational because I'm realizing a lot of people are missing that key knowledge again in other cultural communities. That's really missing. And we need to have that. Again, you
Yeah.
have talk about legacy and breaking debt and breaking this and breaking that, but yet you don't have the actual piece that you need in place in order to counteract that. So that educational piece is what inspires me, and I get bolder too, where it's like, listen, this should sell it. This should sell itself. I look at it as an education piece, but this should sell itself. So I'll reach out to people and say, as long as you're good, awesome, and then go from there. So it really comes down to the fact that I'll say this last piece. If you've seen GoFundMe's for final expenses for families,
Yeah. That's hard.
if you see that quite often, I could bet a significant amount of money and wins a significant amount of times that that family or that individual did not have any or enough life insurance in place. And
Mm.
the fact that we actually have those organizations, which are good, but should not be necessary, that's the thing that keeps us going, keeps me really focused on what's happening. Once we have that, all the other conversations naturally flow.
Right.
So that's where we come. That's the focus.
Right. Well, I think, one of the key words too that you said was have enough, because maybe you do have, so like I have life insurance, but when I get married, I have a family, there's more going on,
Right,
then I will
right,
need to increase it, because right now what I have is enough for what I have, but in the future it will not be enough. So
right.
as we grow, right, in our lives, as we advance, then it would make sense the policy, like our plans would also get bigger to, protect our investment, which is ourselves, our lives,
Yeah, exactly.
our
That's
family.
exactly the case. I mean, you wouldn't go to the doctor if some people don't go to the doctor. We get that.
Right.
That's hey, it's okay. I get that. But those who go to the doctor and invest in themselves in maintenance and taking care of themselves, recognize going to the doctor every 4 years makes no sense. You're your doctor at least once a year.
Right.
At least check in what's going on from year to year to year. Okay, we see this, we see that. That looks good. Watch these levels. Keep an eye on this. Awesome.
Mhm.
And the funny part is, as things change, you'll go to the doctor more and more often. So a young lady who's 25 and just dating might go to the doctor once a year. Awesome, great. And then now they're 26 and they're engaged, and they're at the doctor once a year, no problem. And now they're 27 and they're married, and then they get pregnant. Now they're not going to the doctor once a year. They're going to the doctor a lot more.
Yeah.
They're getting checked in. They're looking at different levels. Things are changing, and they
Right.
have to go. You know,
Right.
in the aftermath, they have to go to the doctor to see how they're feeling, and now they have this whole nother life.
That they have to
They
go to
need
the
to go to the
doctor
doctor
for.
exactly. So it becomes less. The more responsibility you have, the more support that you actually need.
Right.
So as we move forward in life, you need to have people you can go to that you trust and our business is about relationship. The
Hmm.
thing is that I think a lot of people might have been approached about insurance and financial investing and that whole piece, but the person came at them just they came in hot. They came in on fire hot. You need to do X, Y, and Z, and they just blasted them with all what they need. And human nature is we'll back off sometimes, even though we're getting what we need, we'll back off
Yeah.
because it's too much to process.
Right.
Because there is the emotional and psychological piece that goes into that as well too.
True.
So it based off relationship. So even if you had a bad experience with a person, don't throw the whole thing away for the sake of someone who may have turned you off to them.
Mm.
What they're offering and why, and the vitality of it is not should not be diminished because maybe they got way too excited and got way too happy. Maybe they smelled blood in the water and they just got in there and said, "I'm gonna take a chunk out of this person," as opposed to saying, "Let me talk to this person. Let me help this person
Mhm.
out. Let me introduce this information. Let me take the time to figure out." With that, so that's very very important as well too. If you don't have like that relationship, then you're not going to go from there. Then a year from now, like, hey, listen, I have a house, I have this, I have that. All right, let's up the life insurance another $30,000. That's all I need. That's all I need. But I still want to invest. Awesome. What do you want to do? I want to be aggressive. Let's go. I want to be conservative. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat. My
Right.
job is just to pad what you're doing with information, knowledge, and wisdom, and go from there. This is your money. You got to figure out what you want to do with it. There's no wrong answers unless you don't, except for being broke. That's the wrong answer every time.
Well, yeah. Of course. But as you
Every time.
mentioned at the beginning, we tend to have more money than we realize. It's just
Yes.
management of it. So
Yes. Yeah.
technically, we shouldn't. None of us are broke if we figure out the plan.
Hmm.
Like you said earlier, you said make our money work for us. I think that's what you said. I'm taking notes over
Yes.
here. I have
Yes.
a pencil and
I've noticed.
everything.
Yes. Appreciate
So,
that.
but yeah, you said make your money work for you, right? And we think about like working
Correct.
for the money, but really it's a tool that should
Right.
work for me.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly the truth right there. I mean, rich people get richer all the time. Are they really working harder? I mean, not really.
I don't think,
Honestly,
no,
they're not.
I don't think so.
They're out there interviewing. What's his name? Becessos, I can't pronounce his name for Amazon. Is he really grinding out 18-hour days, 20-hour days
No,
the way
he's
he did?
not.
The
I,
way,
I
the way
I
right?
read an article about his daily life. He starts his daily life at like 10 in the morning. He
Yeah.
has like he gets up. I mean, when I say his daily life, like his daily business life,
Yeah,
he
he's up
gets
at 4
up at a
meditating
normal
and
time,
yeah,
spends
yeah.
time with his family, eats, exotic foods, and
No, yeah.
then he goes and starts his day, and then he ends his day, and then all these millionaires and billionaires are getting their rest.
Oh
This,
yeah.
this
Oh,
hustle and grind.
oh yeah. They're drinking like glacier water. You know, they're up at like 4 o'clock in the morning meditating with candle wax from like ancient time. I mean, they're doing crazy stuff. It seems crazy to us, but they recognize the importance and the vitality of balancing their lives and these things that
Yeah,
they recognize the luxury and so they take advantage of it. At the end of the day, we can all meditate. We can all sit down, and if you're a person of faith, we can pray. That doesn't take any. You don't need lights. You don't need heat. If you're uncomfortable, you need more concentration. That's about it, honestly.
uh-huh.
But they're up early in the morning and they are cranking it out. I mean, at one point in time, I don't know his name, but the richest man in the world was in Mexico. And I read
Okay.
an article. He took a bus to work. He lived in a small little house that was probably this. I mean, like the house that we grew up in. If you grew up in a house, it was
Mm,
like this guy's like a billionaire, richest man in the world. He's like whatever.
yeah.
My bad. See you later. On the bus to work, did not care. So it's not like they're out there grinding and doing what they're doing. And across the board, people again working smarter and not necessarily harder. Like Serena Williams, I'll use her for example again. She's 39, going to be 40 years old. And in tennis, I mean, she's an ancient senior citizen in terms of tennis, but she's still destroying people.
Yeah.
Is she practicing 20 hours a day? No, she has been an athlete her whole life. Her body couldn't take it, so she has to be smarter.
Right.
She has to take 8 hours and put that into 2 hours of concentrated work, and she's doing that. Why is that? She also has a kid. her time is split, but yet she's still maintaining her ranking. And like more often than not, like she's not hitting those super high levels anymore because certain things are they go with time. But
Right.
she's still a beast across the
Yes,
board,
she is.
absolute beast. So it comes down to being more concise, more concentrated, and more focused on what you're doing. And if you have those things, then you can do well. But that's the difference right there. People just don't understand. They miss that part.
Yes. Well, this is the perfect segue, I feel like, into the next thing that I wanted to talk with you about and have others, learn from you about is how do you go about building, the life you want while also building your business or, in your case, building your clients up and like that work life harmony. How do you make that all work?
Well, people say, all right, New York Life is an organization, but I'm an entrepreneur. Like I have a supervisor who helps and supports. There's a lot of training and things that they say are mandatory, but no one's checking attendance. If I don't, they're not checking attendance.
Okay.
If I don't work, if I don't close, if I don't meet clients, I'm not getting paid. That's the bottom line for it.
Ah, yeah.
That's the bottom line for it. There are agents who are making more than managing partners. So it's not about them being promoted or that's where the money's at. Like they are crushing it. Absolutely absurd. We actually have a daily leaderboard that gets emailed out. I see salaries. I see a year's salary showing up in someone's ledger for one day.
Okay.
Now the work they put into it, sure, but then when it closes, you're seeing these 5-digit um, commissions happening. And it's like, what are they doing differently? They're consistent.
Mm.
They're managing the time. They're up early. Success people really don't sleep in. Um, they really don't sleep in. And it's funny if you say like, oh, what about my musician rapper guys? Yeah, okay, cool, awesome, yeah, yeah, they sleep in, but they're in studio all night. So
Right.
at some point in time, they're
At
not cranking
at
out.
5, 6 in the morning, maybe even
Yeah,
8 in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they might wake up at 10 or 11 o'clock, but they got home at 6 o'clock in the morning
right,
because they were cranking out a studio and like, oh
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Then 25 cities tour. You don't have to like the music. You just need to respect the hustle.
Yeah,
They put the work in. So you have to balance it by prioritizing. That's the only way you can manage your time. I have the same 24 hours now that I did 10 years ago.
sure.
It hasn't changed. The day has not changed. The week has not changed. Months or years have not changed in terms of how long they are. It's what you do with the time that you have.
Yeah.
As things show up, one parent pregnant, they're pregnant. One person has twins, other person does not have twins. And they go through the same pregnancy, 9 months. Oh,
Yeah.
life is different.
Oh, I bet.
Life is different. Um, but still, they get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get it done. I don't know how people do twins. It makes no sense. People are broke over one kid, but they're doubled up and they make it happen because they prioritize.
Well, they have you to help them figure out their plan and invest
Yeah,
so that they can
that's
make
exactly
their
what needs to
money work
happen.
for them and their twins. That's how they
A
do
lot,
it.
yeah. A lot of people unconsciously budget, and we want to get conscious of what we're doing. We
Yeah.
want to internalize good patterns. Where I prefer to write. You can see my gray hairs, right? Okay, cool, awesome. So
Yeah.
I prefer to write stuff down. This right here still remains to be like the most important thing on my desk is my notepad, writing things down. I get my when I do get paid, I write out my bills. It's nothing crazy. Just write it out so I'll know the number I have when I'm working with. I'll just to get in the habit of doing those things where it's all part
Yeah.
of planning. With that, again, you're prioritizing what's going on. Save first, do that first,
Mm.
spend last. So it really comes down to sitting down, writing it out,
Yeah.
typing it out. Don't go on social media. Like sit there with the windows closed and a candle on, your favorite music, and just like, let me get my life.
Yeah.
Because we all have these get our lives moments. If you don't have a get your life moment, then you're not working hard enough. And write down what's important. What do I have now that I need to do? So for me, all right, wake up in the morning, I have to maintain my relationship, got to take care of my body, that exercise. Those things have to happen. That reduces my stress, and I'm looking obviously for a legacy, family, and kids, and so on and so forth. Can't neglect the lady because otherwise you're not going to be able to have a relationship. That doesn't work like
No.
that. So you got to have that time. And
Right.
this job itself too, right? In this job itself too, you have to prospect. You got to find people. At
Mhm.
the end of the day, when you went to Target, and to my Walmart people, no disrespect, but when you went to Target, you got your, at this point last year, there's no paper towels, no toilet paper. We were all a mess,
Yeah.
right? Lysol, I haven't seen a Lysol can. I've seen like 5 Lysol cans in the last 7 months.
It's still hard to find alcohol too.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So
Yeah.
that was crazy. It was crazy a year ago. We lost our minds, and it's okay. It's a pandemic. People panic. It's okay,
Yep.
right? So you wait. So you get up, and but you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to your favorite warehouse wholesale place, and you get everything you need to get. When's
Yeah.
the last time you picked up some life insurance on the way out? Oh yeah, yeah. Here's my mutual fund. Let me grab that. Let me get the
Mhm.
detergent, some graham crackers, because I'm gonna make some s'mores tonight, and let me grab this mutual fund, this IRA.
No, but it's, maybe something they should have there. Like they have the cell phone, right? Especially in like the big, shopping centers, right? There's like the area you could get your cell phone plan, right? But like
Yeah, yeah.
maybe they need a life insurance spot. These
And
are
when
like
you get yourself,
essentials.
yeah, and when you get
Maybe
your cell phone, what they do? They run your credit, right?
yeah, some I think do and some don't. Yeah, I think it depends on the
Depends on
company.
the plan that you get and the company and
Yeah.
plan. But as you're saying that, I'm thinking you'll see more visuals and optics in your day about things that take your money and run your credit than things that actually help you to invest.
You know, I know this is like getting a little off topic, but not really, because it's kind of on topic. And I don't really want to make this about politics, but the
Hmm.
stimulus checks, right?
Right,
These are being given out, and people really need the money. People are
right.
very, things are really tight. But what about the educational piece that goes with that?
Hmm.
With the fact that financial literacy isn't taught in schools, right? It's not
Right.
something that's part of curriculum, right? And so many people are struggling. We've seen examples like you gave earlier with like the GoFundMe and everything. Like,
Right.
what about like I have wished that, the stimulus checks came with things like consider getting a life insurance policy, with
Right.
part
Right.
of your money, like some sort of like guide. I mean, some people like just really need to buy groceries, right? So
Yes.
I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone who, at how people are spending it, but at the same time there's that educational piece that
Right.
felt missing to me.
Yes. So if you get your stimulus check, or that's a pandemic thing, but every year, what's happening? Get your tax returns.
Yes, your tax
So
return.
so come late spring, if you ate your money, food, if you drank your money, I'm talking about like just like juice. I'm not saying about any kind of alcohol. I'm just saying if you ate your money, food,
Yeah.
drank your money, milk and juice or almond milk, because everyone's vegan now and such, and wore your money because you gotta get a brand new thing, and that's all the money that you have, you missed something somewhere.
Somewhere.
You're not thinking about the big picture. People will shop more. This is self-disclosure, when they're broke than when they actually have money, because you're not going to pay your bills. Like if you're out here sitting on $5,000 of credit card debt, right, and you get like a $600 check, you can't do anything. That's not even going to make a dent with that. So where do you go? You go to Amazon, make that guy rich some more.
Mhm.
You're going to buy those cute shoes because it doesn't matter. That's the mentality that happens with it. I get it. There
Yeah.
is the release and the psychology of just, let me just get something new to feel something. I get it. I'm not even mocking that. God, Lord knows I've been there.
Right, right.
I've been there. But say you get that $1,400, $1,200, $600 thing. Even if you're paying back off of previous investments, what are you still making that money do for you? Can you sit down and peel off 50 bucks, nothing crazy, and just throw that somewhere? You
Right.
know, can you throw that somewhere and into something and be knowledgeable about this?
Yeah.
For example, I just want to put out there, like for term life insurance plans for someone who's actually insurable, who is relatively decent health and such, you can get plans under 20 bucks. You can get plans for 30 bucks per month,
Yeah.
200 and change dollars per year. So say you took out your stimulus bill and you get 14 out. I'm sorry, stimulus check and got $1,400, and say,
Mhm.
you know what? I want to make that money into $100,000. How you do that? Put that into a life
Ah,
insurance plan, right?
uh-huh.
Then you do that and you maintain that over the years. Maybe someone, if God forbid something happens, your beneficiaries get paid out.
Mm,
And if you're able to afford, like I say, a cash value plan, then that money is going to grow over time. And
right,
that's how you save that money over time. And you're going to start off with much more than you actually started. End up with much more than you started with. So that,
right,
again, that knowledge, that literacy, that education is missing. And we'll be broke again come spring. We'll be looking fly, but we're going to be broke again come spring. And we cannot do that while, uh, social mediating, and I'm making that word up, breaking this
good
stress
word.
and breaking that up. Yeah, exactly. We can't do that. We have to be deliberate about that. Please, you make the money, and you're taking care of business, and
Yeah,
everything's paid, and mouths are full of food, and everything's good to go, and you still got some money left over. Yeah, please take that vacation, especially after the pandemic.
right, of
You
course.
know, don't save yourself broke. Please enjoy
Right,
something, but
right,
don't burn it either. Don't burn through it either. And
right.
that's again, we just help people sit down and figure it out. During my prospect, I spoke to someone who says, "I know how do I make it happen," and I'm like, "That's commendable, but let's get better at what we're doing." It didn't work out that person, but it's okay.
All right.
The thing is too this: you can always say no.
Yes,
This is your money that you're investing into these things. You can always say no, and I'd rather you say an educated no than an ignorant no,
yeah,
or even worse yet, not say anything at all, because we know what it is, and if we can get you to understand what's happening, then it's more about to your benefit, and we of course are working. Of course, we're going to get paid, but it's more to your benefit. You're like, yeah, I definitely need that.
mm,
I definitely need that, and you can get it while you're young, and it doesn't break the bank. Because you
right,
shouldn't be 50 years old with three kids say, "Oh, I need life insurance now." It's going to cost a lot more money than it did 25 years before.
right. Yeah. Get it on sale when you're young, so to speak. It's not
Yes.
really on sale, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what do you feel is the biggest factor in your success?
Oh man, the biggest factor of success is support. I think
Okay.
that's what I came into the business like already supported. I was brought in, like I didn't really apply for it. I was recruited, which is fine.
Okay.
You can walk in and say, "I want to do." I was brought in by someone who, like, you can do this. Like, I can tell you can do this, and I was like, okay, fine. Then I met my supervisor, who's not my supervisor, and he's like, "Yeah, I heard a lot about you. Yeah, you can do this."
Okay.
And a year and a half later, he's like, "Yeah, you can do this. Like, you got this." He hasn't backed off an inch. In fact, he's even going harder that you can do this. So the
Mm,
support is there. This job also allows you to see how you are received by people. So that is a bit of an emotional roller coaster. So if you're
yeah.
out there and people trust you, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that respect back. You're gonna get that back. So people say, "Hey, you know what? I'll make sure I come back to you." And that's a stranger saying they like about you. But then you have your friend, your cousin, this sibling, or that aunt, or that uncle who say, "You know what? I'm going to take care of that for you." You're helping people help themselves. And
Mm,
again, like I was saying before, it's about the relationship
yeah.
with that. So once you have that, and they say, oh wow, it makes sense. Once you understand that, and they are affirming what you already know to be true, and then they come through after and say, "Listen, I got three people. I got you. I got three people I need. I'm going to talk to you." They're working for you to help their loved ones, and that's what we want as well too. So, because the name of the game ends up being referrals and get the word out, because that's how the business actually grows. So that's really what happens. It's the support that I really keeps me going with this. It literally keeps me going because I can't afford to not work.
No.
But it does help though to have people who believe in the things that you believe in. So I believe in it a lot more now than I did when I first started, and it really helps because you'll get more, like, it's just like in life. You'll get more no's than yeses, but when you get that yes, it's like, okay, this is great. And then you're like, wait, I'm really able to do the thing that I want to do. So that's
Mhm.
that's what keeps me going. That's uh, it's necessary. We all need that.
It's true. It's true. We all need support. So what does the next level, so we talked about the level of success you've achieved, but what does the next level of success look like for you?
Get rich or retire. So everyone who's watching this, just contact me, help me do that.
Okay.
So
You heard him, world. Contact him.
let's go. Yeah. Next level of success for me is, well, this job. I mean, I learn pretty much every single day what's going on. Like the financial world is something that is not my background at all. Why is that? It's not taught. If you were fortunate enough to learn something from home, or your extended neighborhood family, the village that raises you was able to get you something, absolutely, it's great. Good for you. If you developed a natural interest in this, and you were, you know, Googling, or if you're older, you're in the encyclopedia, and watching TV, and watching the NASDAQ, and watching everything that's happening, and like, this is really good, awesome. People are intrigued and captivated by whatever they're captivated about.
Hmm.
You know, jazz, cooking, dance, stocks, and awesome, cool.
Right.
So for me, the learning part is great, because I need that. I
Yeah.
need to know that I'm learning things at this job, that there's always something to learn that I can and will apply in the future. Because the more I know, I'm going to set up my children, and set up my nephews, and set up my extended families with this information. Like, listen, now you need this. I'm
Yeah.
not selling you. I mean, if I was not here 10 years from now in this job capacity, I still have the knowledge. I can actually do well off the knowledge, and I can grab some kid and say, listen, and I respectfully, mean kid, but like, listen, this is what you need to do. I'm not selling them anything. This is for your knowledge. I can send somebody, like, come here. This is what you need to understand. So that's critical. So for me, the next level, getting more licenses, getting more qualifications, get more certifications, to be able to, you know, uh, to be able to make a better living off of these things
Hmm.
while I'm in this capacity, and just to really own this knowledge.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, I found out my uncle, like my dad's brother, my father passed away. It'll be 9 years, but my uncle, I found out, had a pretty decent knowledge about, some financial stuff that I was not aware of. So
Oh.
now we're talking. I said, "Oh, okay, that's I did not know you knew that." And it's good to know that. So finding it out now
Hmm.
was great for our relationship.
Hmm.
Realizing, all right, I want to introduce that to my nephews when they're younger,
Yeah.
so that they understand better as well too. So that next level is just becoming more knowledgeable, get better at this job. To be the guy who works 4 hours a day, and still crushes it. Not because I'm lazy, it's just because I'm able to do so concisely, and so quickly, and so cleanly what's I what challenges me now. So it's
Mhm.
so I'm working on a few certifications and a few things on licenses I'm trying to get. So those things will help a lot across the board. So I'm working on those, and that's like the tangible aspect. But really, to walk out there and say, you know what, I'm confident that if I wanted to go invest by myself, I know actually how to do these things, and how to build this up for my own family, and anyone who asks. So that's next level for me.
Awesome. I love it. What do you feel is the secret sauce that many entrepreneurs miss when it comes to
Well,
success?
I like you say sauce. I like, because I'm a big eater. I love food. I'm a foodie all
Yeah,
day,
me too.
big all day. And why do you go to a place, right? You go to a place for you go there for the cuisine,
Uh-huh.
the style, whatever the case may be, right? The genre, if you will. So I
Mhm.
want some Korean barbecue. Awesome, cool. Why do you go to that Korean barbecue spot?
Right.
Okay, wow. Okay, service. I like how they are, the ambiance, the service. But ultimately, we go there for flavor. We go there because that place tastes good. There are halal street trucks that have the line down the block,
Yes.
where that line passes another halal street truck, and no one's at that one.
Right.
So it's the same business in the same area, experiencing the same exposure. Why is that? That stuff tastes good. It's
Yeah.
the flavor. If you understand your flavor, what it is that your spice, whatever you want to use, that is what is going to make you do well. We all are wearing someone's flavor. It's like we are wearing someone's vision.
Yeah.
Now we put it together and we present how we want to present, but we're wearing someone's something.
Yep.
And that's important to understand. So it's critical for you to discover. I heard a comedian say it takes someone about 10 years to find their voice in terms of their style, and it's not the funny jokes how they deliver, but yet your favorite comedians, the most popular comedians have a distinct style. Dave Chappelle sounds
Yeah.
totally different
Yeah.
than say Kevin Hart, who sounds totally different than Eddie Murphy. And
Right.
Eddie Murphy himself had different eras, and when you go back, they sound totally different. Meanwhile, they all have stories about getting booed off of stages. Like, how is that even possible? That this person, you're sore in your gut from laughing that this person got booed because they learned what worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
So they understand their art, the comedy. They understand what they need to do, but they learned what worked for them. So for me, again, at the end of the day, it's commissions, it's sales, and I'm really soliciting people, sure. But I've learned sometimes you just gotta throw it out there. Like, listen, you got life insurance? And it
Straight up
works for me.
ask.
Like,
Uh-huh.
no, I don't. Let's talk. Next person, like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I just want to just da, 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 da. So it's learning yourself first and learning your passion and what it is that you're passionate about, what your voice is, what your flavor is, what it is that works for you. For those who are in a more pure entrepreneurial sense, if you do not like Mexican food, do not open a Mexican restaurant. Just don't do it. It makes no sense. You're not going to do as well as if you opened up a Puerto Rican restaurant in terms of Puerto Rican food. It's just not going to do as well. You're not going to be passionate. You're going to hate the smell. No matter how much money you make, you're not going to be satisfied because some part of you is just not going to be at peace with excel. You might even resent the fact that you're excelling at something that you don't really want to do, that you had a choice in how you approached it. So you have that part. Also, you have the part where maybe you are caught up in something and you found the niche somewhere that works. You still got to make it work for you.
Yeah. Personalized.
You got to make it work for you. So let's say, what Mexican makes it, let's say Puerto Rican food is not your thing. You just can't get it right. You can't find the chefs. The neighborhood is not really receptive to that, but it's more receptive to Mexican food, which is not your favorite. Awesome. Okay, but you still can affect the decor of the restaurant. You can still tweak classic things and make it more to your liking. You still have your fingerprint on what's going on there to make it your thing. And that's important to really take the time to figure out what it is that you do. When you are authentic in what you're doing and you have your fingerprints over whatever you have, people are going to naturally gravitate towards that. Everyone goes to church on Sunday online. For those who are of the faith base, it's like, who do you like? Oh, and you got your top 4 people that you watch, right? And for the sake of argument, let's say they're all accurate. They're all good at what they do and everything's on the up and up. There's a reason why number one is number one. There's a reason why you watch someone every 6 to 7 weeks, because it's small doses. You can't take the personality.
Yeah, true.
There's a reason why these things happen. So it's knowing that. Once you have that, for me, it's a style, how I approach it, and just once you understand your flow, you're going to be more successful. You're going to close more sales. You're going to open up more clients. You're going to pick your book of business is going to get bigger because you're just going to groove out, and then you start to stand out a little bit better from everyone else, and you're also not threatened by the next person who's doing their thing in their lane within your industry.
Right. Because so many of us are in the same industry. I mean, I can find a photographer on every street corner in New York.
Yeah, and you guys hang out. I've seen you guys hang out. You guys start taking pictures of each other. It's craziness.
Right. We do.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take Philadelphia for example, right? Pat's and Gino cheesesteaks. Anyone from Philadelphia will tell you that neither one of those are the best, but they're the most popular. They're across the street from each other.
Yeah.
So the first time I went to Philly, I had Pat's. The next time I had Gino's. They were both good. I couldn't tell the difference. My favorite is Jim's.
Okay.
But the line was out the door and around the corner for both of them.
Uh-huh.
So one has the distinction of Sylvester Stallone shooting there,
Uh-huh.
for Rocky one in
Oh
1977,
yeah, yeah.
right? The other one has its own, its own thing. And the last time I went to Philly, I went to Max's, whereas that's the one they went to in Creed. I waited an hour for food because they went to it and they went for Creed and Creed 2, they shot there at that cheese stick. So what they were doing was consistent enough, and they decided to put down the map, had to wait an hour for cheese sticks for that. But so getting cheesesteak in Philadelphia, to be very general, getting pizza in New York and getting this there and getting that here, getting Cuban food in Miami, it's not a shock.
It's not
Like,
hard to
oh man,
find.
there's a Cuban restaurant around. I didn't. That's unexpected. That's unexpected in Wyoming, a Cuban restaurant, but not in no
Right.
one's Florida.
Right.
So what sets apart one from the other? Same thing. So
That's
that's what you have
right.
to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a spice, it's a flavor. You learn that, stick with it,
Yes.
expand it, but stick with what makes it true to you.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And I love all the food talk. Now I'm hungry. I'm always
I'm
hungry. What
sorry.
are you
I'm
saying?
sorry. Any one of my friends who watch this is just shaking their head like this guy is obsessed. And that goes back to the whole exercise and working out thing. You
Uh-huh.
gotta you gotta balance it out.
Yeah, well, this is true. I mean, you can't eat Philly cheesesteaks all day and then never
No, no,
move
exactly. Yeah.
anywhere. That's not going to look good on you.
No, no,
So
no,
tell
not part of the diets that really work for people.
no.
Yeah.
So tell the world how they can connect with you, Kenneth.
Okay, you can connect with me. Best way is my email address. So it's gonna be KGEE at FT like Frank Tom .newyorklife.com. That's my email address.
Hmm.
You can contact Beth. She can get you my information. If you do follow the Big Black Book on
Yes,
social media, I suggest you do. Please
yes,
do that. The whole point is to just bring us out there and to
yes.
make you aware of what's there. So hope if you're watching this now or a year from now, you're learning something and definitely contact through that. But email's best because then we can go from there. It's less pushy. So I'll say it again. So it's KGEE. It's an ampersand the at FT, right? .newyorklife.com. And that's New York Life spelled out like the state, newyorklife.com. That's the best way to reach me. I'm pretty much what you see right here. I'm gonna have a cool background like I have right here, and I'm gonna we're just gonna talk. For
Yeah,
me, it's about having a good conversation with somebody. You and your loved ones will talk, um, and then once it's time to switch gears, we'll switch gears. If you're saying, you know what, I'm good, let me think about it. I'll say I'll talk to you in a couple weeks, and I'll
mm,
still think about it. I'll talk to you a couple weeks after. Eventually, you'll stop thinking, and then you'll decide, and we'll go from there. But the goal is not to pressure you into anything. It's just to educate you
mm,
and let that really marinate for itself. This way, when you're making a decision, you're like, you know what, I want to do this. This is what I want to do for myself, for my family, for my future. And I'm like, let's go. Let's rock. And then let me get three of your friends to do the same thing because you gotta roll in squads of people who are doing. You got to
yeah.
do it.
I think
You know?
that, like, when you're a friend anyway, you naturally have that desire to tell your friend, "Oh,
Right,
hey, I learned about life insurance today and I didn't know." Like,
right,
that word of mouth when you get new exciting info,
right.
you
And
naturally want
yeah.
to share it.
And then lastly, if you had a bad experience with insurance, so you had it before, guess what? You've had it before, you don't have it, you need it. This is how it should be standard. It's the way you should not drive without without car insurance, and the way you need your health insurance for doctor and vision and dental. It should be standard. It's not, and that's a crime as far as I'm concerned. So if you had a bad experience, if you did have it and you had a bad experience, you did not have a bad experience with life insurance. You had a bad experience with the agent who did not educate you and properly prepare you for what you need.
Yeah,
So some people who are not set up at the end of the day, no profession is impervious from those who lack integrity and character.
right.
So you're going to have people out there who are money hungry, and they're going to close the book.
Yeah,
They're going to sell you. They're going to sell you, and you're going to
yeah,
be like, okay, that was good. And then once the good feelings, vibrations fade away, you realize you're stuck with something that could not be as good. For
uh,
me, I regret that I did not know then what I know now for people I helped 6 months ago. but I don't
Right.
regret how I dealt with people.
Ah,
So,
interesting.
so for me, you sit down and if anything, I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I should have pushed a little harder to push the importance of this. That's something I'm learning to go back to your original question. So if you had a bad experience, please contact me. I want you to have a good experience. I want you to have the conversation and walk away knowing what's going on. And if
Mm,
you at some point dropped life insurance and you're still living and breathing, you need that. I have my own. I mean, everyone around me, if they don't know, they don't have their own, they're getting a call from me. They're going to get theirs because it needs to happen.
right.
It absolutely needs to happen. And that's just the start. Once we do that, we have fun. Let's get this money. Let's invest.
Yeah, there's so many
Take
other
your
ways.
tax returns and dump into a mutual fund. Watch that money grow. It's like a,
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
There's
Mario getting a mushroom.
so many different options, right?
Yeah.
Like no one basket, one egg
No, no.
situation, multiple baskets.
You want multiple buckets, and the buckets don't have to look the same from
Yeah.
person to person. But we need to get comfortable talking about money. Like we talked about health, and then now we're talking about mental health last couple of years. Awesome. We need to get comfortable talking about money.
True.
We need to get comfortable talking about money.
Yeah.
Like, we should not be impressed because X, Y, and Z person has like this product's worth this much. Like I'm good too. I'm my own product and I'm making pretty good money. We should not be impressed like, oh, what if? Yes, you can do it. You can do it.
Of course. We can all
You
do
can do
it.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not that hard. You just gotta be willing to learn like anything else.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kenneth. I
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
your time. I'm excited to feature you for our website and on our Instagram page for the month of March. And
Oh,
yeah,
perfect. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Looking
Yes,
forward to it.
you're welcome. Thank you for your time. Have a great evening.
All right, Beth. Take care.
All
All
right,
right.
you
Bye bye.
too.